the first piece of foam all painted, and just got some track pieces laid out to see just about how much I'll need. I've got my switches kind of more or less in the order they'll be dropped in. And here are those styrene chips I referred to earlier. And as you can see, they're designed to basically act as a mask over that gigantic hole and turn the throw bar area into something a tad more precise. And they're left loose right now. I'll let the glue from the ballasting and all that other stuff kind of hold them in place so that I can adjust them all the way up until the very last minute. So that's one part of it. Now, how I've made these, it's just 20,000 styrene. I'm just a tiny bit shallower than the router depth, and it's not, there's not much to explain. In fact, the only reason I'm even mentioning anything is that I cut the corners off of each one of these, taking the hard 90s off of them so that those are less likely to peel upwards later on down the road. I figure something that's kind of not quite rounded off, but at least has those hard edges cut off, probably less likely to start poking up through the scenery later on. So this is completely untested. I have no idea if this will work or not, so we're all in this together. Unless, of course, somebody else has tried this already and failed horribly. In which case, feel free to comment. Gotta go out and get some liquid nails so we can start hammering this stuff down. And I'll effectively be starting on the first section of the railroad and with all the fun stuff. So, until then, I'm Mike Lindsay. Thanks for coming out. Okay, a quick note about the switches here. I've got, they're being thrown from underneath, but a couple of these I wanted the option of having an operating switch stand up top, so I put these steel wires in there in the end of the throw rod so that they can actually move a target or two up on top of the layout, even though the great hand is not coming out of the sky. So one problem, of course, is that the throw bar for this switch has to cross those two rails, and anyone who's even thought about using DCC should know that shorts are bad news. You know, they're troublesome in DC. They're disastrous in DCC. So since it happens to cross the rails right about where the rail joiners are, on this switch I just glued a couple of pieces of styrene to the underside of the rail joiners, thus preventing this problem from rearing its ugly head after scenery and everything is completed. You know, if I had overlooked something like that at this stage, I would never stop beating myself with my own flip-flop. So, good to address these things now. But now, I've kind of laid out some dotted lines to maintain the center line of the track up to where the switches are going to be laid. And we'll get those glued in, make sure the switch ladder is happy. And then, everything else can kind of flow more naturally out from that. I just want to make sure those switches are in place because they do have to line up with their holes and everything like that. So, just a quick note on things that have been going on. I'm Mike Lindsay. See you on the next video.